Hello guys, and welcome to a new segment we're calling Meta Tuesdays. So every Tuesday, apparently, right now, there's always a new Autochess patch. And really cool thing is that they always buff the unit that's the lowest win rate. So I'm going to talk about new patches and, you know, like maybe what the flavor of the week is or whatever. And then we can go from there. It's going to be great. So let's talk about the most recent patch. Which is the March 5th patch notes, all right? First of all, you can now mouse over counters when you click your courier to see how many of each tribe you have. It's actually pretty useful. I just played the game just now, and yeah, it's very easy to track, so that's nice. There's a new item called Battle Fury. It's made by combining Perseverance and Demon Edge, and Perseverance, Ring of Health, and Voidstone, yeah? So it says it grants 30 damage, grants 10 health regen, grants 100% mana. So basically, everything was from before. And then it gives cleaves to your attacks. So it's a melee. It's melee only, so you can't cleave if you're ranged. It is a 300 radius, so about 2 squares. 300 radius, about 2 squares. And it gives 50% of initial damage done as pure damage. That is actually insane. Yo, 50% of initial damage that is pure damage is basically Dragon Knight. So if you have a Battle Fury and you have some, melee carry, you can actually make your own Dragon Knight, which is kind of cool. And this actually happens quite often. Perseverance is very easy to make, and Demon Edge is also really easy to drop in your game. So yeah, I guess what heroes we should put this on? Like an assassin or something? Holy Jesus Christ. Put an assassin, it'll be great. Put it on Doom. Oh, Doom is probably the best target for this. And you can also, I guess you can put it on techies or something like that, but definitely want to put it on the melee guy. All right, onwards we have Hunters. Hunters got a little buff from before. It's now 25-25 to 25-30. So if you go full-blown Hunters, you get a little bit of buff. It's not that huge, but it's reasonable. Elves finally got nerfed. Holy Jesus. They got nerfed from 25-25-25 to 20, 25, and 30. Yeah, elves got nerfed from so the 3 elves got nerfed 5%, and the 6 elves got nerfed for 4%. So that's like the effective dodge, right? That's actually pretty big. Elves needed a nerf, and 5% nerf is actually pretty huge. Basically it's 5%, 4%, and probably somewhat the same at the end. I guess people are not gonna go elves, so if you want to go elves, I'm pretty sure you can just get out the elves for a bit. Next up, we've got Goblins. Nanobots affects all allies now instead of all goblins. I honestly think this was not necessary. Goblins were already really powerful, and now all your units get nanobots. Yeah, that's insane. So you can also have DP, Lich, Gyro. Gyro. Basically, units that ulti a lot in the fight get better because of this buff. So make sure that you take attention to that. Dragon Knight got a little bit of a nerf. Splash damage percentage from 75% to 50%. That's actually pretty big. It reduces his effective damage by, well, basically 75% to 50%. It's like, if you're hitting 2 targets, you go from 250% to 200%. So it's actually a pretty huge nerf. It's like a 20% nerf in a sense, usually. And it could get more than that. So, yeah. I mean, I think Dragon Knight needed a nerf. But this might be a little bit too big. Dragon Knight is still good, by the way, so you can still use it. Medusa, Stone Gaze from 30% to 20%, physical damage amp. I like that. Dude, Medusa is too powerful. I think this is a big nerf. I think Medusa can even get nerfed way even more and still be fine. Next up, Dagon has a cooldown of 15 seconds, scaling to 3 seconds for level 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is actually insane. So Dagon is actually worth upgrading now, insanely well. And off gear it's an item, so you can't really plan for it. It's kind of crazy how the level 5 version deals 800 damage on a 3-second cooldown. Dude, that's like Lina. That's like level 2 Lina ulti every 3 seconds. So, dude, if you can get a Dagon level 5, I guess you just win the game. It's pretty impossible not to win. And then Slark, because he was the lowest win rate, got a buff. So the Slark's pounce, so his ulti got reduced by 2 seconds, and his disarm is now 5 seconds flat on all levels. So, if you're new to patch notes, Slark actually lost his Shadow Dance, and now he has pounce, which is actually he jumps to a unit, and then he disarms him for 5 seconds now. and deals a lot of physical damage, which is nice. But perhaps the biggest buff to Slark is the base armor. From 0 to 5 is actually insane. So like 0 armor units, they're just really paper. Increasing his armor by 5 effectively increases his health by 28%. We'll talk more about this in our next guide, but basically 5 armor means 28% health. So imagine a unit that gets buffed 28% health. That's huge, right? So yeah, Slark is might actually be good now. February 27th, there was a patch. It changed some items. There's Massive Madness. Massive Madness is very important now. It doesn't give negative armor, so it's always a positive. What does it do? So now it does lifesteal 10%, attack speed plus 40, and it also self-silences. So whatever hero you put it on, it cannot cast any abilities. So the best recipients for Mom is passive heroes, such as Anti-Mage, Troll, Luna. Those are the best. Drow would also make sense. You can also put it on heroes that do a lot of damage and you don't really want to ult. So Tiny's not a bad. Doom is actually not a bad recipient for Mom. So make sure you keep that in mind. Blade Mail is worth getting out. The damage got increased by 10% to 20%. And then we've got some buffs. DP's attack damage is plus 10. Slark's attack damage got increased, so there's a lot of Slark buffs. They're just gonna keep on buffing Slark until people play with it. Alchemist attack damage got increased. Still shitty, by the way. Don't pick Alchemist. Ricky got increased by 1 second on Smokescreen. I still think Ricky sucks, mainly because of the 0 armor. So I would still not recommend you pick him. Vino, huge. Dude, he uses a huge buff. Vino's wards actually apply a debuff called Shebang Poison. And it gives negative 30% attack speed. Now, to put negative 30% attack speed into perspective, that's basically a Lich ulti. A Lich ulti applies the 30% attack speed debuff. So that's actually huge. Vino is really, really good now. Put a Void Stone on him, put a Crown on him even. He'll be at the back. He'll get a lot of wards. And the wards also are immune to magic damage. So also a pretty strong option if your opponent's running mages or razors or whatnot. The wards just stay alive. They are vulnerable to physical damage though. So Beastmaster, and they're all dead. And that's it for the patch. So the summary of these patch notes is that there's a lot of quality of life changes, which is great. And then, there's a few nerfs there. There's a few buffs there. What I recommend in Autochess is that whenever there's a nerf, people always overshoot. Right? People go like, oh, I don't want to touch that tribe anymore. Like, Elves got nerfed. I don't want to touch it. Dragons got nerfed. I don't want to touch it. So my recommendation to you for climbing right now is to build those tribes. You have more chance of getting those synergies because everybody's just scared of them. They're like, ew, cuties. But then you go like, yes, cuties. So that's what I recommend right now. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. The Tuesday meta report will be back on next Tuesday to give you a brand new patch, hopefully, and let you guys know what cool tribes there are that you want to aim for.